Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Clara Z and I do videos on luxury handbags and fashion items. So today I've been tagged by the beautiful cat L, and the tag is on my deal breakers when it comes to purchasing luxury handbags. This was a tag that was started by Isabel Stahl and Purse on Fleek, and if you're interested to hear about their deal breakers, I'm going to leave the links down below so that you can learn more about what some of their personal deal breakers are when it comes to purchasing luxury handbags. And as some of you know, luxury handbags are obviously a very expensive purchase for a lot of us, and so these are just some of my personal deal breakers when it comes to purchasing luxury handbags. So let's get started. So first of all, I refuse to buy handbags that I can't clean. So that means things like fabric, cloth, because I'm thinking, what if I have spaghetti, curry, or sauces for lunch, and suddenly I hear splatters, or someone drops something on my bag that caused a stain, or over time it caused odors, or if it was raining and there was a huge downpour. I don't know how I would be able to protect my bag, and how would I clean it? At least with my clothing, I can get it dry cleaned, but with cloth bags, what am I supposed to do with cloth or fur? Because some of it's probably leather, and I don't know how I would be able to clean those bags. So the second deal breaker for me is if the bag is super heavy. Have you ever carried a bag that felt like bricks? Come on. I already have enough stress walking in sometimes very tight clothing, high heels, and I got a lot of things to balance. So if the bag is feeling very heavy, not only is it painful for my neck or shoulders, but it's quite burdensome to be carrying around a brick all day. And some bags are really nice, don't get me wrong. They are made of full leather, they are high quality, but as soon as you put like a wallet, maybe a phone, or whatever it is, it's suddenly really heavy, and who wants to be carrying bricks around all day? So that is deal breaker number 2 for me. The next deal breaker is if the bag is too boxy. So what do I mean by too boxy? I mean bags that like really jut out. I live in Hong Kong and I walk shoulder to shoulder, I'm squished on the subway, and if that bag is really boxy, I could end up flinging someone or hurting someone, or my bag could get squished, or any bag that protrudes from my body too much, that is a total deal breaker. So the next deal breaker is something that Kat also talked about, is if the bag is really fussy. So everybody's take on what is fussy is a little different for them. So there are a lot of things in life you need to baby, and definitely it could be people, but definitely not things. Beautiful bags. I don't know if I want to spend so much time babying them. It's not to say I'm going to abuse it, but I already think I should be babying people and not babying things. Not to say that I would not be so careful with them, but definitely if the bag is too fussy and I have to spend too much time taking over it, or if the clasp take too long to open or to close when I'm in a rush, or if it requires both of my hands, my body, and my legs to open this bag. You know, have you ever had those bags where you have to like use all 4 limbs to open the bag? Ugh, it's too troublesome, okay? So no fussy bags, because we need life to be simple, and I already paid for this bag. Why am I spending so much more time and energy on something I paid so much money for? Very fussy bag. When it comes to fussy, another bag that I've sold in the past is the Chanel boy bag. Now I know a lot of you do love this bag, but for me it was fussy. The straps, they were driving me insane. The way it kind of maneuvered, I always had the strap or the chain in a way that was not in the right position. So straps that are too heavy, they're too fussy, or they take too long to unwind, forget it. The only exception to that is the Gabrielle, and that's fine. It's not too bad for me. So when it comes to straps, another deal breaker for me is that if the bag is really big and the strap is really thin, you know what that means, because you can really stuff that bag. And when you stuff that bag and you put a very thin strap on your shoulder, it's gonna dig. It's gonna dig. And not only is it gonna dig, it's going to feel heavy and you could be in pain. So when you're looking at large bags, does it come with a wide, comfortable strap? Or maybe everyone's different. Maybe your pain tolerance or what you consider as heavy. But for me, I prefer light bags, and if it's a big bag, it better have a comfortable or wide strap, because really I don't want to be abused by the bag strap. And speaking of bag straps, there is a bag, and yes, it is the Celine box. I know this is a favorite bag for a lot of you. However, there's something that really gets to me. So the shoulder strap where there's a clasp holding the strap, has anyone noticed? It's actually really sharp. You know, if I took my finger and I ran it lightly over the edges of that clasp, it's really sharp. You could actually hurt someone with that part, you know, either you'd be hurting your own shoulder, or can you imagine I'm walking down the street and, you know, I accidentally bump into someone, I could actually end up slitting someone's skin on it. I don't know, is that a bit exaggerated? But anyways, that is a really sharp little clasp on the shoulder strap, and it's just not comfortable. So sorry. Anything that is too sharp or uncomfortable that's on the strap, forget it. So speaking of straps, I am about 5'4". I hate it when the strap is really super long. And when I think of that, I think of the Chanel wallet on chain. So I don't know how many of you own the wallet on chain, but it has a really long shoulder strap, and I have tried to shorten it, and I put the little rings on it to shorten it, but it's a hassle and it's too long and it's not adjustable. So these days, if the strap is too long and it's not adjustable and it's just hanging on me to my knees or past my hip, forget it. That's a deal breaker for me. So speaking of fussy, another thing that I don't like are heavy or noisy clasps. So sometimes the bag is not too heavy, but it's like the clasp or the ornament is heavier than the bag, and then it causes the bag to slouch in a weird way, or it just makes the bag too heavy. And another thing is that if it makes noises, it can drive me insane. If I am walking and the whole time it's going clang, 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 no thanks. And honestly, the only time I should be hearing jingling is maybe around Christmas time, but do I want the sleigh ride on me the whole time? No, no, it would drive me insane. So no noisy and heavy clasp. So moving on, another pet peeve I have are purses that have a really bad zipper. This is something I don't understand. These bags, people spend so much workmanship, so much time on materials, and they screw up the zipper. And I'm like, why is the zipper so hard to open and close? Zippers should be able to open and close smoothly on these luxury bags, but there are some where it's just like, ah! Okay, doesn't make sense. So yeah, if the zipper is not smooth and I find that I'm like constantly trying to open the zipper, forget it. That's too fussy for me. And for a luxury handbag, I do expect better. So another deal breaker for me is if the bag lacks structure. So what do you mean by lacking structure? There are bags whereby if you let it sit for a while, there is so no structure that the bag becomes unstructured, or it deforms, or it becomes a melting pot. So I've seen bags whereby over time, because of the poor structure, it loses its shape and becomes like a puddle. And it's like, what happened to my bag? It's now a puddle. It's no longer a bag. And so yeah, When I buy a bag, I do expect it to have some wear and tear, but if it's just going to lose its structure and no longer even look like a rectangle, or it might look like a sunken rectangle, no. And one way you see that is sometimes, have you been to a store whereby there are display items and they already look so marked up and so used and so abused? That is another deal breaker for me. If I'm at the shop and already there are scratches and dents and deformity on the bag, when it's been on display for a couple of weeks, what's gonna happen after I use it for 3 weeks, 3 months, 1 year, or 3 years? It's gonna look even more tired than it looks on the actual counter. So yeah, that's another deal breaker for me. If it already looks old and tired on display, forget it. So another deal breaker for me are bags that are unbalanced. So what do I mean by unbalanced? So there are certain bags when you put over your shoulder that when you carry it over, the bag topples forward. So just to kind of show you what I mean, I'm not referring to this bag, but there are bags whereby you hold it like so, and as soon as you open the bag, it's like the bag goes like this. And I'm okay with that if it's like a tote bag because I can control it, but there are some bags that are so front heavy that even when you're carrying the bag, it topples over like this, and I'm like, am I gonna lose things? Are my things gonna be all over the floor and I have to embarrass myself by picking up all my makeup and all my personal items all over the floor on the subway? So no, that's just poor design. So if there are bags that I open up and I realize the front side just flings open, that's a deal breaker for me. So speaking about balance, as some of you know, I really love backpacks. However, a deal breaker for me is if the backpack does not sit flush against my back. So if there is a V formation whereby there's a big gap between my back and the bag, it's a deal breaker for me. I mean, I live in a crowded city, and if I turn around and it catches on someone's jewelry or on someone's clothing or their bag for that reason, or for security reasons, that is a total deal breaker for me. And definitely I have seen a lot of backpacks that just don't sit flush against the back of my back, and maybe for some people that's okay, but for me it is a total deal breaker. Finally, a final deal breaker for me is when the opening of a bag is too tight. A lot of the times I am in a rush and I'm just trying to open my bag and just grab my items, pay for whatever it is, and move on. But there's some bags that are so tight, I almost feel like the zippers are just cutting the back of my arm. How much more abuse should I get from these bags? Not only that, sometimes it's just really hard to see what's inside, so you need to use both arms and just pry open the bag, and then you gotta hope there's enough lighting so that you can find the $1, $2 coin inside so that you could dig around and give it to them and scratch the back of your hand on the way. Yeah, no, forget it. If the bag opening is too tight and it doesn't open properly, that is a deal breaker for me. So I hope you've enjoyed today's deal breaker tag, and if you're interested to do this tag, I would really like to tag you so that you can share with us what your luxury handbag deal breakers are. And if you have done this tag, please do let me know, and you can also find me on Instagram at ClaraZila. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for joining me today, and I wish you a safe and wonderful week. And again, if you did enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye bye now.